about using FG cleats on an AG pitch. Now, you're not supposed to wear firm ground cleats on an AG pitch, but we all know you're gonna do it anyway. Nike knows this, Adidas and Puma know this. In fact, they know this so much so that they'll label their cleats FG AG. Adidas used to do this more often. Sometimes they kind of flip-flop, so they'll label this FG AG, or then they'll go back to labeling it FG. Doesn't really matter. The current Speedportal, the AG model, has just one additional stud tip. It's basically the same sole plate. So, they all know that you're gonna wear these boots on an artificial grass pitch. So, which one actually performs the best and is the safest on an artificial grass pitch? That's what we're gonna find out in this video. Ooh, that was just right. The first cleat I'll be looking at is the Puma Ultra Ultimate. Now, it's been described by reviewers as the best FG AG plate, and they sell it as an FG AG plate, and honestly, it really isn't that bad. But there is one key thing to note. On a pitch that I'm on right now, that's very tightly wound, there's not a lot of turf pellets. There are very few. Here, I find my foot gets really kind of caught when I kind of twist and pivot. It's not bad, but when I was seeing reviewers rave that this boot was perfectly suitable for both firm ground and artificial grass pitches, I was kind of disappointed because I was really excited to have a boot that I can wear when I go practice and then when I come out here to play. And it was really lacking. But then I went to another pitch, and that AG pitch was way more turf pellets, kind of patchy in some places where the grass had just kind of been eroded from use and wear. And then that's when the magic of these boots really came to shine. They have kind of triangular blades up by the forefoot, and the top blades, the chevron style, are very wide, so even though they'll dig into firm ground, when they're on an artificial grass pitch, they cover so much surface area, they don't really penetrate on a hard ground like an AG pitch like this. So that's why it's so good on an artificial grass pitch. But again, going back to why I struggle with this pitch and not the other one, that pitch, because it had so much more pellets, the grass was longer, it was more patchy, it was able to dig and not get stuck. Here, I'm kind of getting stuck, especially on the back blades here. Especially with this one right here, the chevrons, these last two, ooh, am I really stuck in right now. So, it was really frustrating having that issue. But again, if you go to an artificial grass pitch with a bit of a longer grass, not a short grass like this, I think you will actually be quite happy with the FG AG capabilities of the Puma Ultra Ultimate. Alright, our next boot on the docket is the Nike Mercurial series, or the Superfly. The current generation, I believe 15, and Superfly 9? 8? I get a little fuzzy with the numbers, but point is the current generation of Mercurial Vapor is got a really cool technology where it's got air zoom, and it basically gives the boot a very bouncy sensation, and it really helps, especially after a long day of just giving your feet a little bit of cushion, so when it's pounding on the hard ground, it takes that bite out of it. And some people also say it kind of pushes you forward as you go. Now, how does the stud pattern hold up? Honestly, it's not that good. It's actually pretty bad. And again, it's meant for FG. They actually, Nike, give them credit. they market this boot as an FG plate. So you can't really yell at them for if you get injured, because they say, no, this is an FG boot, but it is very aggressive. And then I find that because of the air zoom bags that are underneath your foot, you have a bit of a disconnect with your foot and when it's stuck in the ground. When I have my foot stuck in the ground, I usually kind of feel it. I feel a little bit of that tension. When I wear these, I really don't feel when I'm stuck, and it actually caused me to have an injury in my groin. Now, I can't say that this one will absolutely give you a groin injury over the other two boots, because that's not fair. You know, that's a small sample size. But as I was running, I really felt a lot of pain in my hip area, because I would twist and pivot and really not get that feedback that my feet were used to digging into the ground because of that zoom back. Now, to Nike's credit, they say this is an FG boot, so buy the AG boot. Simple enough. And I don't think you'll have that issue of not really feeling connected with your foot, because the AG boot has those conical studs. The only issue is that if you live outside of Europe, it's a little harder to find the boots. I think in the Asian market it's not so bad, but in North America right now, in America, it's just absolute crap buying AG boots. You have to go to Nike's website and do a customized version of the Elite model. It's a lot of money. You know, you're spending $270, $300 something dollars. Meanwhile, if you want to buy it from Europe, you can get it for like $200, but then you're getting, you know, taxes and fees and additional $20 or so on that. So it's really not that easy to buy the Vapor in AG. So I understand why a lot of players will be playing with these boots in the firm ground model on the pitches. On a short pitch like this, it's pretty bad. I've mentioned that before, because again, you don't have quite that feedback, so when you really twist, pivot, there's that disconnect, and you'll end up pulling things without really realizing how much tension you're putting on your muscles. On a longer AG pitch, it's really not terrible. You're gonna have a little bit better of that twisting. It's not gonna quite get so stuck. But again, I would not recommend using the Vapor 15 unless it's in the AG variation. And the last boot that we're going to talk about tonight is the X Speedportal from Adidas. Honestly, I'm actually kind of impressed with what Adidas did here. They know you're going to wear this cleat, the firm ground variation, on AG pitches. So they actually kind of designed them for artificial grass. They still sell you an artificial grass version of this, but all it is an extra stud tip. You really don't need to buy it. Get the warranty, which is great, but honestly, the firm ground variation is good enough. I played tonight in it and loved it. So, spoiler alert, this is the best boot to wear on all artificial grass pitches, because the way to design the studs is that they're thick and wide enough and fat enough that they're not really going to be that thin penetrating blade that goes down. So they really kind of don't actually dig into the ground, so you kind of get that twist and pivot. Now the back two studs, just like Puma, do kind of grip a little bit, but as long, especially with this type of boot, as long as you stay on your toes, it's not going to dig in as badly. And again, it doesn't have that air zoom bag from Nike where you're having that disconnect. In fact, you actually have the carbon fiber, which gives great spring back and kind of pushes you on your toes, so that when your foot goes in, it's already coming out. So you're not really going to get stuck quite so easily. grass pitches, it does good enough. And on the longer grass pitches, I didn't really find much of an issue with it. So to me, this is the best boot. Granted, it does have a little bit of that bite to it, so just be aware of that. To summarize the video real quickly, the Puma Ultra on a short pitch isn't ideal. You'll probably be okay, but the Ultra Ultimate, really not ideal for a short pitch. Long grass pitch, perfect. It has just enough twistability in the studs that you can twist and pivot really well. So if you have a long grass pitch, great. If it's short though, kind of dicey. Next, the Vapor 15 Superfly 9, 8, 9, forget the number. But the Vapor 15 is definitely the worst. It has the most aggressive studs that really dig into the ground. And then the Air Zoom bag, especially with the FG stud pattern, gives you that disconnect so that you're not going to necessarily notice when you're really twisting as hard as you would in a regular FG pair of boots. And lastly, the X Speedportal. Again, with those wider studs, they cover more surface area, so they're not going to dig into a short ground pitch as much. And then, of course, on a long grass pitch, they do just fine. So these are the three boots in order. One, it's sort of 1A, depending if it's a long grass pitch. But 1A, 2, 1B, and all the way at the bottom, 3. Let me know if you wear FG boots on artificial grass and what's your success with that, because I see it all the time, and honestly, I don't think consumers even know that there are artificial grass cleats to wear. It would be a good discussion to have to see, hey, I didn't know that, or what's the best firm ground boot if I can't buy an artificial grass boot. Now, again, all these boots have a danger to them. So just be aware when you go out in your firm ground cleats that you're taking a risk to your knees, to your ankles, your hips, your groin. You're taking a risk. But if you want my opinion on the best boot to take on artificial grass, it's the X Speedportal. And until next time, guys, I've been Andrew, and this is Footloose.